Hey, what's up, gamers? I'm Gio from the Part-Time Gamers Club alongside my co-hosts, Mike and Gerard. Say what's up, fellas.
What's
So,
up?
Hey, so on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Call of Duty and the decline in popularity. If you guys have been around the Call of Duty community for as long as we have, you definitely know that Call of Duty isn't at its peak state as it once was. And these days, it seems like little by little, other games are gaining more popularity in the mainstream eye, as well as in our general opinion, in our eyes as well. Um, Gerard, Mike, what's some of the things you guys feel and have noticed with Call of Duty over the years?
You go ahead, Gerard.
all right. So let me start off with how long I've been playing Call of Duty, just to give a frame of reference. So, I've been playing Call of Duty, uh, even before Modern Warfare One. Okay, excuse me, OG Modern Warfare, uh, where I actually played the historical World War One games, World War Two games as well. Or not World War One, World War Two games, uh, like Call of Duty and the Battle D-Day and things like that. And I enjoyed those games. So when Modern Warfare came out, I actually didn't play Modern Warfare the moment it came out. I think it was you or people at school who introduced me to Modern Warfare, the OG, and that's when I
I
started
was,
playing it.
I want to say, I was definitely playing, and I was playing. I know you jumped in a couple times with my Call of Duty teams and stuff like that. I just can't remember exactly when you started, but I know I was already playing by the time you
Hmm.
started.
Yeah, and that's when I started playing more avidly and things like that. Uh, and then by Modern Warfare 2, I think I was completely hooked because I joined a clan doing competitive or like clan versus clan wars, things like that. So as always, I've always been there since like Modern Warfare, the modern Call of Duty was spawned and things like that. So comparing it to back then, I think the community is different, but two, I also think the way games are designed have changed so drastically. Where, uh, in comparison, like back then, you had to do a lot to get skins for a gun. Like the
Hmm.
1,000 headshots was a fucking feat of achievement for games. So, uh, nowadays, like you have your achievements for guns, but like majority of them are just purchasable. You just buy them online, or you could buy any skin or like attachments and everything like that. So I do feel like the design of the Modern Warfare has changed, and I do think that kind of has taken the I don't want to say veterancy out of it because that makes me sound like an elitist, but like I do think they've taken out the idea of progression in the game, like active progression, because the only thing people are progressing on is their rank and level, and that's you get that by just playing. So there's no meaningful progression in that game.
What about
Yeah,
you,
I
Mike?
think, I think, I mean, I played Modern Warfare. I don't know when I started, to be honest. I think it's the same time around Geo, but I think Geo, you played first, I think. And I think I started picking up, you know, playing it, and then I got really good into it when Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops, when the Battle Royale came out, and then I know Geo, we played that a lot.
But that was way later, Mike. That's Call of Duty Black
I
Ops
think it's
4.
Yeah,
yeah. I
That
was
was
about
way
to say
later.
Black Ops 3 or 4.
Now, yeah, you were playing Modern Warfare with us in Modern
Yeah, no, no,
Warfare
no,
2.
no, no. Prior to that, yeah, I know I've
Mm-hmm.
been playing a lot with the we had like the crew back then, but
Mm-hmm.
I know I just I was hooked with it, and then I got hooked with Black Ops with the battle royale when they came out with its own battle royale. I know we played a lot of that, and then I kind of dabbled after that. I don't think I really. I mean, I dabbled in War. I think what I don't know.
World of War, yeah.
Well, yeah, dabbled in that, and then currently I'm like if I play, I play it, but I don't have the game. I don't own the game. I usually play at my brother-in-law's house if I do play. But and that's rarely. I made the switch to like more fast-paced kind of actions like Apex, but I think for me, it's just why I went away from Call of Duty. I think it's just because think there's, I would say, better options for me to that I gravitated to. Like when Apex came out, fast paced, and it was just, and the movements felt smooth. Everything looked, and I just enjoyed it. And then when I played, the what's the other battle royale for Call of Duty that came out, the Modern Warfare battle royale, and I just didn't.
You're
like
talking about Warzone.
Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone. And I just didn't like the movement. It was kind of slow, and then I just stopped playing Modern Warfare, Call of Duty games after that. It's just like I can't get back into it. It's just not it. And then the other thing is you're paying a new game for. If you're not playing the battle royale, you're playing team deathmatch, and it just kind of felt like the same thing. The only changes is the guns, the type of guns you can use, and it's just the same thing. You're doing the same thing. You're buying a new game just to do the same thing. In my opinion, of course, I haven't really dived deep on what big changes were, but I just felt like it's just repetitive. So like, and then other games like Apex, where if they're trying to evolve, they add new guns, you're gonna add new games, so you're not gonna pay for a new game. Even though Apex has a different structure where it's just free to play and you buy the skins and stuff like that, but just like, I think there's better options and better than having to pay for another new game to do the same thing, basically. So that's the reason why I kind of went away from Call of Duty, and I play games like Apex or any other games like that. But I don't know. I think Call of Duty just, I don't know how can it evolve, keep changing, progression, and continue to provide the same type of game like on previous games. I don't know.
Well,
that's probably why it's losing, fan base.
What I'll say is, I'll touch on a couple of things that you both said. So going back, obviously I started in 2007, I believe, because that's when I switched from Halo 3 to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Got hooked on it because couple people that I played Halo with started playing Call of Duty. Then Steve introduced me to a couple of his friends that played, and then that's how we met the whole group that we started playing with: Joe, Gina, Gerard, the other Gerard, the Asian Gerard, a couple others, Gabe, and I think part of it for us too was kind of like a lot of us, we started, obviously progressing in life, real life, getting careers and families, and a lot of us kind of got away from the game, and I feel like that was kind of a big part of why I played Call of Duty, was because I enjoyed who I played with. But at the same time, like you were saying, like the game doesn't feel the same as the original Modern Warfare games, the OG ones, even the OG Black Ops. I don't think they do any Treyarch games either, do they anymore, Gerard? I haven't noticed a Treyarch release in a while, like a Black Ops version.
If I remember correctly, Treyarch took over Call of Duty, like the production, because Infinity War was the original one, but the Infinity War turned into Respawn games.
No. Infinity War still exists, but it's called Sledgehammer now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, that was part of the problem too, obviously, with Modern Warfare 2, when that whole debacle happened with Activision and the greed, and basically shorting Infinity War team almost $400 million at that time, which is insane, because that'd probably be like equivalent to a few $1 billion now. Then losing that initial team that helped create that massive successful game, I think kind of hurt it in the long run. I'm comparing, how the game felt. Like you just said, Mike, you said Respawn Entertainment and Apex, how much smoother it felt, the fast pace. Guys, that's the same creators of the original Modern Warfare games. That's the same team. That's why we love Titanfall. Titanfall was something that I gravitated to right away. I love Titanfall. I love the idea of it, the concept, all that stuff that they came up with. And I think that's part of what's hurting Call of Duty. Like you said, it feels like the same game. There's nothing being added to it to really help take it to another level, evolve it. And I think part of that is also the fact that they're trying to put out a game every year. They're not taking time in between. I think when they had that Treyarch Infinity Ward each year, they alternate years, it gave them some time to make some good additions to the game and come up with some creative ideas. I also think Battlefield helped push their ideas also, because Battlefield was big. I wasn't a big Battlefield player, but that was the biggest competition for Call of Duty for a long time. So I don't think I've seen much Battlefield in recent years either, which I think kind of the battle royale games kind of hurt Battlefield because Battlefield hasn't made a battle royale version, and that's kind of seemed to be the wave right now, you know. And at some point, yeah, you got to kind of ride the wave, and I think that's what Call of Duty did with Warzone, and that's kind of what helped Call of Duty stay in popularity. Because I said this in one episode, I feel like if they didn't do those other games like the zombies, the Warzones, the Blackouts, that franchise would be a lot less popular right now than it is, and it's still declining with its viewership on Twitch. Sales have been declining. It's just not the powerhouse it once was, and I feel like all those factors kind of impact that.
I would say that Battlefield has its own problems, with like 2042 being like absolute pile of horse manure when it got released. There is rumors of them developing a new Battlefield game at the current moment, which probably would be best for them to reset, looking forward. But I do think Battlefield doesn't need to make a battle royale. The way the game works is that it's not one individual person being hyperly strong. It is supposed to be representing ground war, which is just like in Call of Duty we had at one point a game mode called Ground War, which was just like stupid amount of people. It was just like I think it was like 12 versus 12 or something. It was like so many people. That was Ground War, and Battlefield that's what their motif is. It's just like a lot of people versus a lot of people. You don't need a battle royale for that because the battle royale niche is there's a lot of people on the map. They already kind of hit that niche. So I do think they don't need to make a battle royale. What they do need to make is a good gameplay loop, which 2042 did not have. So if they're going to rebrand or remake Battlefield, it'd probably be a good place for that within a new game. But with that being said, for Battlefield, I do think Call of Duty has lost its steam and its popularity to some of the points that you mentioned. But also, and I do think this does not help, is they also put out a game every year, and it is becoming that thing of there is a thing as too much. Too much water can kill you. Too much of anything can kill you.
It's kind of like the Madden curse that me and Mike say.
Yeah,
Madden is the same. It's the same thing. They add a few tweaks, additions. You think about Call of Duty, they add a different perk. Maybe they do some map changes. But even people have been complaining about the maps. The maps aren't as creative as they once were, as fun, you could say.
You can run out of ideas making maps. Sometimes there's only so many ways you can make a map that fits within a certain grid. Either you make too big of maps, which is like Afghan, or you make too small of maps like Rust or Shipment, and then you all right, anything in between those two have to be unique, but then you run into the problems how many ways we've been making maps since Call of Duty 1. How many ways can we make a map? And you run out of options, you run out of things, and that's a great thing about games like Titanfall or Apex, or just overall just games with high mobility, because I think Advanced Warfare had that same niche where people enjoyed the multiplayer because you had the ability to scale buildings and change the way you move throughout the map, and that increases replay value because there's only so many routes you can take on a current map, where eventually you just start going in one big circle over and over until you meet someone.
And there's one less thing that games like Apex that Call of Duty don't have: camping.
Yeah, that's true.
More prevalent in Call of Duty camping. Just one person just laying down somewhere and just faking.
And that's because the maps are small too. The maps are small that you're guaranteed to see someone if you stay still. Can't do that in Battlefield. There might be a chance you never see anyone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I remember that. I was like, damn, I gotta change my strategy here.
Yeah. and that's why like Shipment and Rust, those small maps were like preferred because like camping is like something that everyone either needed to do, or you're just gonna die in 2 seconds. So you got to be really good as well. Just like,
You
oh,
know,
I can't camp because I'm not alive long enough.
You know, it's a sign of that too. To touch on what you're saying is too, though, because they've been recycling maps. Now,
Yeah,
Call of
they've
Duty
been.
always kind of done that with some of the Modern Warfare games. They might bring 1 or 2 maps, but they're doing it more than ever. And like Nuketown, let's be honest, Nuketown was one of the best maps in any game that I've ever played. It was just fun as shit.
It was
And
a small enough map where you would guarantee to get action, but it was big enough where like you can plan different routes throughout, because like you can be on top of buildings, you could also camp houses, but also that middle ground was like such a play area. It's like the cars are blocking just enough view that you have cover, but not enough to like someone's behind that bus. Either I go left, right, or through the bus.
Yep. No, that's. I feel like that's part of like what we've been touching on is kind of like the back to back years, and they're just running out of ideas because they're not having enough time and space in between games to really come up with something new, creative. I think they need to take that step back and give it, like, come on, Activision is such a big company. They have so many other game titles under them. Why can't they just say, hey guys, take 2 years, give us something that's gonna wow the gaming community again? Like, take the 2 years, because we have so much in the funnel right now. We're gonna make money whether we put a Call of Duty game out or not. And especially they just joined Blizzard. Like, they have Blizzard back in them.
I mean, Blizzard's already having a hot punch, but continue.
I was just thinking, like, what can they do to kind of evolve the game then? What would be our suggestion of,
What?
Okay.
regardless
Gaming
of like
mechanics.
disregard the making a game every year.
Yeah.
What route would be a suggestion of like that would take them to the next, I guess, next level, or like next,
It depends on game mode.
Yeah, but I would say like destructible environment. Didn't Battlefield had something like that?
It's not
Like
they still do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the
like,
Battlefield
if they added
environment.
something like that, if they worked on their game mechanic again, how it felt, the movement, like you guys know, because we keep mentioning Respawn Entertainment, the movement of the original Infinity War team was like, it was perfect. It was perfect. The game felt perfect. Didn't matter if you were like a new player or a veteran. You knew the movement just felt right. It just felt right.
The game felt quick.
Mm-hmm. But reactive too. Like it was responsive, shall I say? Yeah, it was spot on.
So here's a thing I think the Call of Duty could benefit from is make, like, it also falls into like destructive environments, but make maps interactive. So a good example is in Gears of War, certain maps had like after a certain amount of time, an event would happen on the map. And a good example, I can't remember the name of the map, but there's a map in Gears of War, I believe 3, where you're on a mountain, and halfway through the timer, avalanche happens that will change the map dynamic completely. And if you get hit by that avalanche, guess what? You die. But
But it had a train too. They had a map
train
with a
as well.
too.
Yeah.
Freaking.
Yeah, and after that event happens, the map is different now. Like, either something opens up, or some of the map elements that were previously there got completely overwritten, and now those are free, like, areas. So now you can snipe from across the map. So I do think some map changes in that regard, because right now maps are boring. That's what it really is. Maps are boring. Like, you can hit all the game design pieces, but if you don't add something spicy to a game or to a map, it doesn't feel that way. That's why like High Rise was so like well received, is because Crane adds such a weird, unique mix to High Rise, and that it becomes like, oh, if you could get there, sniping on that crane is legitimately strong, but getting there is very hard without someone seeing you. So like,
I do agree with that. Like map interactive changes, like maybe bring in cold weather where you have to equip make a choice in your equipment. You know, I think stuff like that would
Camouflage?
actually benefit. Like,
I mean, they already have that with like Cold Blooded and stuff like that. But like,
No, but
maybe
he's saying like
know about like
your
actual
camouflage. Like if you were a certain camouflage, maybe like certain map, like you know what I mean. So you blend in better with the map. Something
like the
creative like
weather,
that.
like
Some
weather
idea,
plays
yeah.
a role. Like in Hell, I bring Helldivers for like a little example. It's like, you know what you're facing, the weather and stuff like that. We put equipments based on, you know, what we're facing, either the bugs or the auto
automatons.
bots, whatever. Yeah.
So he's saying like night vision, like if you make maps like night
like-
and stuff like
Can,
that.
can we?
Like,
I would like to
I mean-
throw some shade at Mike real quick. I don't play Helldivers 2, and I knew that the alien race was called automaton.
I like going against the bugs more than the fucking bots. Okay? Leave me alone.
Continue.
But something like that, like make it more. Well, you guys like map interactive. You know, being interactive with the map, so you could base your equipment based on the environment. You know, the changes, and I think that would definitely. Help keep at least maintain and not a high decline as it is right now.
Yeah.
If you have something like that, it will build interest. It will make sure that it keeps evolving, keeps it kind of up to date with how other games are doing. So yeah, I do agree. Map changes, being interactive, changes to maybe just the equipment type. Yeah, I don't need you to freaking be flying over like Apex or have something like that's not.
Yeah, technically it's already been done, so I don't need
yeah,
that.
they tried that in one of the Black Ops.
Advanced Warfare.
Oh,
Advanced
yeah,
Warfare.
I hate
I
that
mean, the
shit.
game itself is about
Trash.
like war, like human war. It's not like anything.
A lot of people would disagree with that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Advanced Warfare
game.
apparently was a lot of people
Trash.
say was the last good multiplayer from Call of Duty.
All right.
Well,
I would
and
say
then
the
Black
last big
Ops.
multiplayer was Black Ops. Probably 3 and 4. Those are probably the last good ones. Then it was Treyarch, and I don't know what happened to Treyarch.
Oh, I did find an answer on Treyarch. Now that you brought it up, Treyarch is assisting in the current game modes. They're just helping with like zombies and stuff.
They just need to make their own game. Again.
Technically speaking, they've only made one game by themselves, and that was Black Ops 2. Every other game they've been assisted by another game company for all the Black Ops.
Well,
Zombies is so
they
good.
need to be in the lead then of decision making.
I don't like current zombies. I'm not gonna get on a tangent here because like it's already like we've been far into this podcast, but I don't like the current zombies because I think they're just reusing Warzone assets and have the Warzone gameplay, and I despise that as much as because I already don't like battle royales. How dare you put it into a cooperative thing where I'm sharing my cooperative instance with other people? I just feel like that's lazy. That's just lazy now.
Yeah, Well, I think you said that on the other episode too. Like if did they reintroduce special ops or they have a special ops?
No, they don't have special ops.
Spec
I
Ops,
I
right,
would
but-
like Spec Ops back, if anything, but that's
So that's
another
something
thing.
you would want to see
Yeah.
in a new Call of Duty game. Like I said, I also feel like I don't know how you feel like Gerard when like playing the new ones and you Mike. I feel like even the gun recoil, the gun sounds, I don't know, they just feel off and like doesn't feel, I don't know.
So that
Like
that
the
would be
same.
that would be your thing that what Modern Warfare or Call of Duty should do is rework the gun sounds and
Mechanics.
recoil.
Yeah.
The gunplay.
Yep.
You would like them to work on the
Yeah,
gunplay.
recoil's fine. The sound maybe. It
Uh,
just sounds,
But I even like, all right, so
I
like,
do
you
feel
play
like
the-
gunplay has to be different in Call of Duty games. Only because like I know Rainbow Six Siege has like focuses a lot more on the gunplay with high recoils and the guns are like that. We don't have a lot of high recoil guns in in Call of Duty, the recent Call of Duty. Because just like that gunplay is not supposed to be so difficult to maintain. It's supposed to be casual friendly in that regard.
Would Call of Duty be
Finish your
good or-
sentence. There you
I'm trying to, I want to try to phrase it the right way, but like, all right, so Vegas.
This is the last question.
Rainbow
Last
Six
question.
Vegas, yep. Vegas, Counter Strike style. Can Call of Duty do a game like that? do you think they can do a style like that?
So like Rainbow
make it
Six
work.
Vegas.
Yeah, and make it work.
So
'Cause that would be interesting.
that would be more designed towards like a tactical shooter, and
Mhm.
Call of Duty has always, I would say, marketed itself as a not even an arcade shooter, but like a very fast-paced shooter. And tactical shooters are tend to be slower because you need to take everything more strategically. And I I would say this: hardcore mode in Call of Duty is more of a lean towards tactical shooters than it is that fast-paced shooting, because you die so quickly. So you either tend to either run it down and be really good at your gunplay, or take corners very slowly. And if they wanted to follow that line, they would have to follow more into what they're doing in hardcore, where they make gunplay matter, and more importantly, everything is lethal, so everything has to be treated differently. But that would mean redoing maps to make it more strategic.
But that's kind of what we've been saying. Redesign maps.
Yeah.
Be like, think outside the box that you've been doing. Change it up, like, for the love of God.
I would love to see them convert like Spec Ops into that kind of gameplay, though. But that's a like a nail that's like really hard out of the wood, and they need to slam that down really well to get that to work. Yeah. But yeah, I think we hit everything. Yeah, I think we hit everything.
Well, Mike, you got anything else? Are you good?
I'm good. Screw Call of Duty.
No, we just want a Call of Duty game that, you know.
I just want a good Call of Duty. It doesn't even have to be an old Call of Duty. Just give me a good Call of Duty.
Yeah, just one that actually feels like the developers put their heart into it again. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Take 2 years. Take 2 years to make the game, at least.
Like 5 years.
I don't know about 5 years. People will forget about Call of Duty.
I don't think Activision would be happy waiting on 5 years.
I think 2 years is the max amount of time Activision would be able to wait.
Yeah. But all right, gamers, that's it for us at Part-Time Gamers Club. Feel free to tell us what you guys think about Call of Duty and your experiences, and what you guys would like to see in the upcoming Call of Duty, and if they should take some time and space it out a little bit more. But again, that's it for us. You guys have a good day. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Part-Time Gamers podcast. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And follow us on our other social platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. Links for those will be provided in the description. Thank you again. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. And make sure you make some time for video games. Peace.